So next,
Reflections on Navy life, military technology, dreams deferred, and pursuing justice through law.
So I was NAVC.
so how did you go? To me, I mean, looking on the outside, like man, you just graduated at 19, this great degree. Why would you want to be involved with anything military, right?
Well, the funny part about it is I actually wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I got bad advice from my parents. This was the bad advice. I ended up crazy part. I was a victim of childhood sexual assault. So my daughter's mother was 26 and I was 17, right? And my daughter was my daughter was born like my daughter was born in 2008, like either when I turned 19, right around when I had turned a little after I had turned 19, but I had never seen myself as having been groomed,
Mm.
right? It's funny, like looking at the stuff with Shannon Sharp, right? And people are like, oh, well, this 50-year-old man is dealing with this teeny bopper, right? To each his own, right? But to think that, hey, before you're 18, you don't, that's in the law's eyes, you're a kid.
Mm.
Let me fast forward. My daughter was born. I ended up having a child with this woman, right? My parents were like, well, you can't be a fighter pilot with baby mama drama. If I would have known what I know now, I would
Yeah,
have just went on ahead and went into the Air Force.
yeah.
Went into the Air Force and went for my dream. So instead of that, I still got exposed to the military,
Mm.
and I ended up working for a company called NAVC, which is actually Naval Sea Systems Command,
Mhm.
which is part of the Department of Defense. So I was a civilian employee
Okay.
with both civilian and military leadership.
So talk about this. It says that you served as a technical liaison for Allied navies on international missions from 2008 to 2013.
Yep.
I can imagine what you were exposed to during that, right? Can you talk about that experience?
You probably were exposed to more as an army officer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that.
But for me, what it was is the system that's currently shooting down drones in the
Mm.
Red Sea, the Mark 41 vertical launching system. That was my system. So we were doing a lot of testing on the Mark 41 vertical launching system. Like the our first combat deployment of the Mark 41 vertical launching system and the SM-2 missile, the first actual combat use of it, um, or at least in the defensive way, was that system has been in place for like almost 40 years.
Yeah, that's what I like. People don't realize like the tech we have. It's not like it's not like AI started yesterday. It's here now. Like all this tech has been around for a while, right?
And
Regardless of tech.
and before it was known as AI, it was known as machine learning, and
Mhm.
before it was known as machine learning, it was known as algorithmic, right? It's following a particular algorithm to be able to get to that, and to think that um, there's more power in our cell phones than what put us on the moon.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Right? This is mind-boggling, right?
You know what I mean? And to think that the stuff that shoots down is shooting down missiles out of the sky, shooting down other missiles outside the sky, in the sky, ballistic missiles, is technology and computers that are 20 and 30 years old.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I did that for about 5 years.
And do you still have like a top secret clearance, or that's over with?
I, I don't have that clearance.
Okay.
I don't have that
Okay.
clearance. When I left for law school, your clearance only lasts either 5 or 10 years after you leave. But yeah.
So next question: why would you punish yourself and get a law degree and master's of business? Are you just that driven at the
Oh
time?
man, that's actually a that's a great question. The I actually went to law school because I was tired of paying lawyers for trying to be able to see my daughter.
Mm.
Like custody battles and all that stuff, like the amount of money that I was spending and time that I was spending and not really understanding the process. So my own court situation with child custody was what actually inspired me to go to law school, right? And I also had a mentor at the time who taught me the importance and also the power of the law. His name was John R. Hatcher III, who was the president of the Ventura County NAACP for like 28 years at that time. And he took me underneath his wing and taught me actually literally how to write. letter writing and how to advocate and diplomacy, all those things. There's actually a, a post office named after him in Oxnard, California. So he encouraged me about going to law school while I was an engineer.
And how long were you a public defender?
I was a
And
public.
was that in Baton Rouge or someplace
That was
else?
in Shreveport, Louisiana. I was a public defender from 2019, May 2019 to October of 2020.
And you always hear like on the news, or whatever, like there's for every one public defender, there's like 20,000 million defendants, right? Is it really that bad in the court system?
There are a lot of people who do not have private representation, who do not have private lawyers. There are a lot of people, and people think that public defenders are supposed to do the same job as a private attorney. And in some ways, there's a certain standard